Depending on who you root for, you're either loving football season right now or can't wait for it to be over. I think Commanders fans might be in that second group. Must-win game against the Giants Sunday. We'll break it all down with Linnell Willingham of the Team 980 and 106.7 The Fan. In the district, a clash of two college hoops programs on the rise at Capital One Arena. We've got highlights of the matchup between two new head coaches and three college volleyball teams in the DMV going for conference tournament titles on Sunday. We'll let you know how those squads did on the hardwood. All that and more coming up right now on Game Night.
The only 7-day-a-week sports show in the DMV. From DC News Now, this is Game Night.
No hot water in the showers for these guys. I mean, seriously, what are we doing here? It's just awful all around.
Whew. Bad game, no water for the showers. We thought Dan Snyder was gone, but I think we can still feel the lingering effects. It takes a little bit of time to move on to that Josh Harris era officially. We got a lot more to talk about with the Commanders. Welcome into Game Night. I'm your host, Alex Flum. This year's Commanders season is quickly turning into one to forget for fans and, frankly, the players on the team. But they entered this Sunday 9-point favorites against the 2-win New York Giants. Just got to beat Tommy DeVito. You probably have never even heard of him. In his second NFL start, you would think Sam Howell and the Commanders could pull that off. Good day for the pass rush. David Mayo getting back to take down DeVito. He had 2 sacks. The whole defense had 9, nearly a franchise record, but didn't show up in the scoreboard. Fourth quarter down 14-12. DeVito finds Saquon Barkley. He scores. Giants take a 2-possession lead, 21-12. Commanders down 12 now, still battling. Howell connects with Jahan Dotson for a touchdown. All you people complaining he never scores. He scores again there. Cuts the Giants lead to 5. After a defensive stop, they get another chance. Final minute, ball around midfield, but Howell is picked off by Isaiah Simmons, and all the Commanders can do is watch. He runs the length of the field for a pick six. Painful dagger, insult to injury, the dive into the end zone backwards. Just a crushing loss at home for the Washington Commanders. They lose to the Giants 31-19. Sam Howell, 31 of 45, just over 250. Tosses a touchdown, runs in another, but here's the big thing. 3 interceptions, part of 6 total turnovers for the Commanders. The loss drops the team to 4-7, somehow reaching a new low point. We're going to send things over to FedEx Field now, where Brandy Flores and Jake Rom have the post-game report.
Thanks, Alex. Yep, another disappointing game here at FedEx Field. Washington Commanders obviously coming into this one against the New York Giants. Big favorites, should have won.
Should have absolutely won. Now the Commanders are 0-4 against divisional opponents, losing to the Giants and the Eagles twice this season. And here we are again at FedEx Field once again, where Ron Rivera and Sam Howell are at the podium talking about how disappointed they are because they felt even during the game that they could have come away with the win.
We move the ball, we turn it over. For 2.5 quarters, we shut their run game down and we allow an explosive. That's not consistent. That's inconsistent play. And that's where you get beat. You have to be able to sustain what you've done to sustain success. Good play, good play, good play, then we can't have a major negative play. We can't. And if we do, we're not experienced enough to withstand it.
The most frustrating part is, I think we have a really good football team and we have so much potential in that locker room. And that's the disappointing thing, is that we're not getting the results that we feel like we're definitely capable of. We're definitely not where we thought we'd be. We know we're a better team than what we've shown this year, but we're running out of time.
Yeah, just like Sam Howell said, Jake, they're a good team, but today they shot themselves in the foot one too many times. In fact, 6 times is when they turned the ball over. Yeah,
and Sam Howell having 3 of them, I feel like we put him on too high of a horse this week when we kept talking about, did the Commanders find their franchise quarterback? I think we kind of forgot a little bit. He's still young. He's still really in his first full year here with the Commanders. It was disappointing, the players showing that disappointment in the locker room after the game.
We knew coming into this week they probably one of the best teams in the league at getting the ball out. And we prepared for it, but we just didn't execute taking care of the ball like we should.
I don't know. We just didn't come to play. I don't know what it is about the Giants. We don't come to play when we play them. But I don't know, man. It's tough. It's frustrating.
No matter what performance anybody go out there and do, we trust our guys, and we know, we know next going forward we're gonna pick it up.
So Brandy, obviously offensively not getting the job done. Too many turnovers. Defensively, some good sides, some bad sides with it.
Yeah, we can't talk about the defense as a whole and say they were good or bad because there was some good parts. At one point, they had 9 sacks today. We thought they were on their way to breaking or setting a new franchise record for most sacks in a game. Meanwhile, the secondary giving up all kinds of plays to the Giants' young quarterback, Tommy DeVito. He was able to drive down on them pretty easily. Obviously, frustrating to have some good and bad parts on defense today. But after the game, the players were blaming it mainly on themselves and their own lack of communication on the field.
We kind of just give up 1 or 2 plays here and there, and they always say explosives leads to points. So you give up 1 or 2 explosives, even if you're playing good, they're going to score some points.
When you look at teams around the league who are consistently successful, they know how to win different types of games. They know how to win ugly games. They know how to win offensive games. They know how to win defensive games, special teams games. So for us, we just have to learn how to win in different ways.
So John Allen, a veteran on this team, talking about the different phases he's seen here in Washington. Something seems to always be missing. They're good on paper, but for some reason they can't put together a winning season. I asked Terry McLaurin the same question, and he said that's not really the coaching staff's fault or anybody else's fault or outside factors this team has faced throughout the years. It's the players having to take accountability within themselves if they want to win some football games.
Yeah, and they're going to have a quick turnaround, get that accountability soon because they have the Dallas Cowboys on the road on Thanksgiving. But that's going to do for our coverage here at FedEx Field. For Brandy Flores, I'm Jake Rum. Alex, we send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Jake and Brandy. Let's take a look at the updated NFC East standings now. Commanders barely holding on to third place. Giants in last still. 2 of their 3 wins this season have come against Washington. Cowboys in second at 7-3 after beating the Panthers Sunday. Eagles just 1 loss this season. They're in first and will play the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch on Monday night. We've got Linnell Willingham, 106.7 The Fan here, one of our favorite guests of the show, to break down whatever it was we watched earlier. And
good way to put it.
Man, the showers didn't work. Just to add to the craziness of today, not much else to say, right?
Not
Maybe
really.
You do have some stuff to say.
And then the shower's not working, Alex. It's like that was just the energy around this football team right now. They are the Washington can't get rights. It's the most frustrating thing to watch. Obviously, we both love the jobs that we do, but to cover this program right now is the most. It's tough, is the way that I'll put it. Today, going into a game where you feel like you got to win, sellout crowd, Joe Theismann back in attendance, John Riggins at the stadium for the first time in years, and you put out this performance. I took 6 or 7 pages of notes today. None of it matters because what we saw this afternoon simply isn't going to cut it. Today really culminates the Ron Rivera era, man. Lack of production, not being good enough, and then not meeting your expectations. He's been in the National Football League coach for 12 years, Alex. They've finished over 500, talking about Ron Rivera-led teams just 3 times. It's not good enough. Defensively, Tommy DeVito gets his draws watched by his mother still, and he came into FedEx Field and absolutely tore this defense apart. It was a sad thing to see. I feel for the players because I know they're giving their maximum effort, but something's got to give here, Alex. This was frustrating.
You said it well.
I
don't know what to. The Notebook.
We'll get the Notebook later, but I mean, seriously.
DeVito's underwear.
It's just
Couldn't
tough.
have said it better myself.
The one thing that gets me, though, Alex, is going into the season, we talked defensively about how good this group was supposed to be and that was going to be the team or the side of the football that really grabbed this thing by the horns and really led them to the promised land. They've been one of the worst defenses in all of the NFL to start the season. Through 11 weeks, they're, 6th in the NFL in most explosive plays given up, talking about runs of 10 yards and pass plays of 20. They gave up 8 more today. The boys talked about it in the package, just not good enough.
Not good enough, and someone who agrees, former head coach Jay Gruden. Here's what he had to say on Twitter. Black Monday coming to a theater near you. Been there, done that. Of course, Jay Gruden, like many others in the past, fired by the Commanders after a number of years of mediocrity. Could Ron Rivera be next, and could it come tomorrow? Linnell, here's the first question. Okay. Do you think Ron Rivera should be fired on Monday, and do you think he will be fired on Monday? 2 questions.
Where's the single shot? If this was any other week, Ron Rivera and that coaching staff would be blown out. But we got a short week going into Thursday's game against Dallas on Thanksgiving. But we talk about it all the time, man, just failing to meet expectations. And the thing that's most frustrating about this Ron Rivera-led football team, year 4 on the job, and there isn't any improvements, it feels like, throughout the roster. You traded your highest draft pick that you've ever had here in Chase Young a couple of weeks ago. And today, losing to Tommy DeVito and company, Alex, it just feels like rock bottom.
Here's my thing. I've defended Ron many times. said it to you before. I think he is a good leader of men. I don't think that's translated to football success. Obviously, he had the special run with Cam Newton and the Panthers all the way to the Super Bowl. He got the Commanders to the playoffs in a year dealing with COVID, recovering from cancer. There are some good things that have been done, but the fact of the matter is, and you illustrated it well, whatever the talent is on this team, it does not seem to ever translate to wins. No matter what, the Commanders continue to find themselves 7, 8, 9 wins. And this year, sitting at 4-7, somehow hitting rock bottom again for the 20th time, it's looking like it's not even heading in that direction of being an average team, and it's looking like more like we're going to see them in the top 10 of the draft next year. So I hate to say it, I think it might be time to let Ron go. Let's see what Eric Bieniemy can do leading these guys, but who knows what they'll do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Short week going into the Thanksgiving game against Dallas. If they come out and put together a poor performance in prime time on national stage, you may get fired going into Black Friday. So
yeah,
buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be interesting.
It might be Black Friday instead of Black Monday. Coming up on the show, and we're not talking about deals at the store, by the way. Georgetown and American University. Big showdown at Capital One Arena. First-year head coaches, programs on the rise. We've got the highlights right after this. Welcome back into Game Night. Both Dwayne Simpkins and Ed Cooley are just a few games into their first seasons leading their respective programs. Simpkins at AU, Cooley at Georgetown. The two programs meeting this afternoon at Capital One Arena. American managed to beat Georgetown last year. Was a big win for them. Eagles hoping to make it 2 years in a row. Let's pick this up in the second half. AU in control. Lorenzo Donadio. It's a corner three. That puts the Eagles up 10 with less than 5 minutes to go. Final minute now. AU up 2. Matt Rogers missed that free throw, but make up for it. Rebound, bucket, foul. Amazing play in a clutch moment, but Georgetown, they've got some clutch genes too. Down 3 final seconds. Jaden Epps, huge three. We're going to overtime. In OT, AU pressing. Epps to Rowan Brumbaugh. Breaks the press, lays it in, puts Georgetown up by 3. And they're going to come from behind to force overtime and win in overtime. Ed Cooley and the Hoyas beat Dwayne Simpkins, and the Eagles Hoyas win 88-83 in OT. Jaden Epps erupts for a game-high 31 points, and Ed Cooley saying after the game that this win shows things are starting to come together.
I thought it was a resilient win. It was one of the first times we've won here with respect to instilling a culture of resilience, of togetherness, of unselfishness, of complete buy-in and trust to what we, the staff, are trying to instill in our men.
Been a bit of a shaky start to the season for the Maryland women's basketball program, but the Terps with a chance to get back in the win column at home on Sunday. Take you to College Park. Number 20 Maryland hosting Syracuse at the Xfinity Center. Late first quarter, Allie Kubik nails the triple, game-high 23 points for her. Just before the half, it's going to be Cheyenne Sellers getting around the defense for the tough bucket and the foul. She scored 19 points in this one. Terps down 3 at the break. Final seconds now. Maryland down 2. They need a stop. Check this out. They're going to get it. Huge steal at the last second. Dribble it away for the win. The Terps survive a scare from the Orange at home. Brenda Freese's squad wins at 83-81. They improved to 2-2 on the season. Again, Kubik leads the way with 23 points. She also added 8 rebounds.
After today, 4 games in and 2 really tough games against perennial power programs on the road. So just having the perspective as we build, both our starters as well as the bench, today was a really good step in the right direction.
All right, big win for the Terps. Linnell, staying on the topic of basketball, we're both DMV guys. We both grew up going to Wizards games, and I think it's fair to say it's kind of sad what's happened with this fan base, and I want to bring something up that Denny Avdia said this week. Take a look.
It just gets me angry sometimes, honestly. Like playing in your city and like having the whole stadium cheering "Let's go Knicks" and those people buying tickets, just one single ticket to cheer the Knicks. It's not something that you'll see in Europe, especially where I played. So a lot of those fans that are cheering and like "Let's go Knicks," like sometimes I'll stare them down. I'll be angry, but I'll keep it inside. It's just like something cultural that gets me a little like this stadium needs to chant like "Let's go DC." That's how it needs to be. And I'm wishing there, and I think everybody will, and I think one day it will be. So I'm positive.
So Linnell, I was there when, he calling him out, and fairly so. I was there when Gilbert Arenas and Antoine Jameson were hitting big shots. They're playing LeBron in the playoffs. That place is packed. I was there when Paul Pierce called game. I was there when John Wall stood on the table. There aren't moments like that anymore. So on the fan side of this, they have a little bit of a point. Why go to the games when this team can barely score, they can't play defense, and they win 2 out of the first 12 games of the season? But on the other side of things, you should still support the team. I mean, what are your thoughts on what Denny had to say?
I completely agree with what Denny said, but I understand the other side of the coin as well. Being a fan, why would you want to go out and support a lousy product? And to be honest, that's really what it's been over the past few years with Washington. I think moving forward, there's plenty of room for growth and opportunity to get behind this Washington Wizards team. They got a lot of young cats that they're trying to grow and develop this year, but I understand Denny's frustration, and I know how it is when the Celtics come to town, when the Lakers come to town. It's filled with the opposing team's jersey. Put yourself in Denny's shoes. Coming out 41 games a year, you're supposed to have the home court advantage, and for Washington, it seems like it's non-existent.
Yeah, and there was one note he did make. He said, I think it's going to come. And I think he's right. I don't know when that will be, and I don't even know if Denny will be here. I don't know if anyone on this Wizards roster will be here. I'd like to think someone will be around still.
Hopefully.
You know, maybe Kispert, maybe.
Well, Denny signed the contract extension, so he'll be here a little while.
So maybe Denny will be the last man standing a while from now.
He's the longest tenured Wizard right now, so for him to say it,
when Victor Wembanyama's a free agent in a few years, and Bilal Coulibaly
bring them all to DC. Bring them all.
Then we'll get a packed
Cross your
house
fingers, Wizards
one day.
fans.
Just like we rooted for KD coming to DC for a while. Bring Wemby wants to play with his. I'm starting it
his
now.
best friend.
3-4 years in advance.
It'd be wishful thinking.
We'll see what happens. We'd like to see some good energy from Wizards fans again. Well, coming up on game night, we'll check in on some college volleyball tournament title matches, plus men's soccer NCAA tournament action. 2 local teams facing off. JMU putting Georgetown on upset alert. Highlights are next. Welcome back into game night. Let's hit the soccer pitch. Second round NCAA tournament in DC Sunday. 2 local teams facing off. Getting right to these highlights. Georgetown, number 3 in the nation at home. JMU coming in looking for an upset. We'll go right to the 39th minute. No score. Penalty kick for JMU. Davide Materazzi finds the back of the net. The Dukes are going to strike first. They take a 1-0 lead, and that's all they need. JMU. Good. Oh, the Dukes, their sports team's looking good. They go on to win this game 1-0. They advance to the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament. We'll face the winner of UCLA and Loyola Marymount in that game. Moving on to college volleyball now. We mentioned 3 local teams playing in conference title games on Sunday. First up, Patriot League. American taking on Colgate. AU trying to win its first Patriot League tournament title since 2019. First set ball to the Eagles side. Here we go. Zeynep Uzun smacks it right back down for the kill. Eagles up 7-2 in the first set. Colgate goes on to win that one 30-28. Third set, Eagles down 2 sets now, 2-0. Carly Skaborski hits it hard from the outside, gives them a 5-point lead, but they're going to drop this match in straight sets. And a couple more volleyball notes. Howard loses in the MEAC tournament title game. JMU loses in the Sun Belt tournament title game, but a winner, Richard Montgomery in Montgomery County. Congrats to them on winning the 4A state championship, their first in program history. Well, coming up on the show, we're going to quiz Linnell Willingham on Commanders quarterbacks. He's got a good track record in our trivia. We'll see if he keeps it up. We'll be right back. Trivia time. Linnell Willingham, youngest in charge movement, born in 1997. I'm going to give you 1:30 left in show to name as many Commanders starting quarterbacks since 1997 as you can. There's 32 of them.
Let's do it.
Can you get every single one? Let's go.
Lay it on me.
I'm going to check them off as you go. Go
Gotcha.
ahead.
I'm naming them.
Go. Let's
Kirk
go.
Cousins, Robert Griffin III.
I don't know if I can keep up.
Gus Frerotte, Patrick Ramsey, Jason Campbell, Colt McCoy. I'm stumping. John Beck, Rex Grossman, Jason Campbell, Alex Smith. Oh, I'm blanking. Why is it so hard for me? Alex Smith is the last. Dwayne Haskins.
Okay.
There's so many on this list.
Should have had you do them in order so I
Yeah, I
could keep
know.
up.
Wow, I've named all the ones that have played since I was born.
Say Sam Howell.
Oh, Sam Howell.
Now I'm helping.
Sam Howell, Kyle Allen.
I don't know why.
Gosh, I gotta remember the Josh Johnson, Mark Brunell. Did you not have Josh Johnson on the list, Alex?
No, I didn't cross him out yet.
Wow, I think I've named everyone that's played since I've been alive.
35 seconds. Did you say Jeff Hostetler?
Yeah, Jeff Hostetler, of course.
He was the quarterback the day of your birth.
Really?
When's your birthday?
November 14th.
So he probably was. Him or Trent Green.
Carson Wentz.
That's
Taylor Heineke.
There's a list. I don't know which
I'm about to say, man, Tim Hasselbeck, I probably wouldn't have got.
You listed him so fast, I don't even know.
Donovan McNabb. How did we forget about the lack of cardiovascular
I don't think you said Shane Matthews. I've never even heard of him.
I've never heard of him either. Never heard of him either.
All right, Linnell Willingham can do it all when it comes to DC Sports Trivia. Great having you on the show. For everyone behind the scenes, I'm Alex Flum. We'll see you later.